Long ago, there was a man named Abram, later called Abraham. He lived in a place called Ur, surrounded by his family, friends, and the familiar life he had always known. But God had a plan for him, one that would change not only his life, but the course of history. One day, God spoke to Abram. He said, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing to all the families of the earth." Imagine hearing that. God was asking Abram to leave everything familiar, the streets he walked, the home he knew, even his family ties, and go to an unknown land. But Abram trusted God. He believed God's words and was willing to take the step of faith. So Abram, along with his wife Sarai and all that they owned, set out on a journey. They traveled across deserts and plains, through lands filled with unknown dangers and challenges, but they never walked alone. God guided them every step of the way. Along the journey, God spoke again to Abram. He promised, "Look at the sky and count the stars if you can. That is how many descendants you will have." Abram believed God, even though he and Sarai were very old and had no children. He trusted God's promise, even when it seemed impossible. Time passed, and Abram continued to follow God's direction. God's promise wasn't just about a new land or a big family, it was about hope, faith, and God's plan to bring blessing to the world through Abram's descendants. God also made a covenant with Abram. He performed a special ritual, showing that he would be faithful to keep his promises. Abram's faith was strong, and God honored it. Even when challenges came, including doubts about having children and difficulties with family and neighbors, Abram held on to God's promise. He knew that God's plan was bigger than his own understanding. Eventually, God fulfilled part of his promise in miraculous ways. Abram's descendants grew into a great nation, and through them, the world would be blessed in ways Abram could never have imagined. The story of God's promise to Abraham teaches us about faith, trust, and obedience. It shows that following God often requires stepping into the unknown, leaving behind comfort, and trusting in His guidance. It reminds us that God's plans are bigger than our own, and even when we face obstacles, His promises are true. Abraham's journey is not just a story from the past, it's a message for all of us today to trust, to believe, and to step forward in faith, knowing that God is with us every step of the way. Through Abraham, we see that faith isn't always easy, but it can lead to incredible blessings for ourselves and for the world around us. And that is the power of God's promise.